Welcome to episode 82 of Project Geekology, and this week we are going to be talking about Deadpool. And by Deadpool, I mean his first appearance. That is X-Men Origins Wolverine, the best movie ever. I lie. I am one half of your host, Anthony, and joining me as always is...
the biggest ever fan of X-Men Origins Wolverine, Dakota. I also lie. But, there's probably someone else out there who loves this movie, And there are things to love about it. We will give credit where credit is due. It is not received favorably in the public consciousness, at least not the way that these movies are remembered. It's typically rated among the lower ones. But you know what? We're going to give it its fair chance. We're going to talk about what worked, what didn't, and what really didn't. And yeah, we're going to dig into this one. But before any of that, I know, Anthony, you have had a crazy weekend. So please tell the world, this is your stage. Tell the world what you've been up to.
Dude, I have had such a busy weekend, man. I was just up all day and all night just playing Persona.
I didn't see that one coming. He hit me.
I had to hit you with that one. No. So last episode I did talk about the fact that I had a convention that was coming up, and so that's already been two weekends ago or a weekend ago. At this point, by the time that this episode comes out, but yes, I went to OtakuFest this past weekend as of recording, which is May 23rd, and man, I had a really good time. I haven't gone to a convention since August of last year, so it's kind of like a long time due for me. I haven't really taken much time off except for maybe a couple of sick days here and there, so I was really just prepared to enjoy a nice long weekend of being a nerd. Yes, I did cosplay this weekend.
Okay, we gotta hear it. Hold on. What was this? It was OtakuFest?
OtakuFest, yeah.
Was it 3 or 4 days?
It was 3 days.
It was a 3-day convention, okay.
I'm gonna be honest with you, not many conventions are 4 days anymore. SuperCon used to be... So SuperCon is another convention that I'm going to this in July, and that used to be 4 days. Now it's down to 3 days.
Really? I think the Comic-Cons, the two big ones, are still 4-day conventions, if I remember correctly. Actually, San Diego might be a 5-day convention at this point. But I think I'm
wondering, maybe MegaCon in Orlando might be 4 days. I think
that's
the
a bigger
last time
one.
I went,
yeah, that's a bigger one.
Yeah, the last time I went, which was in 2022, I think that was 4 days. I went in on a Thursday, and I love those earlier days of conventions because you really get, especially if you can get it, if it's a 4-day, that Thursday is perfect because people are working.
Yeah.
And not everybody, but a lot of people in the surrounding area that do go, they're usually working. So that's what I did on Friday. Friday was really just getting the lay of the land. They moved the convention to a new convention, or they moved the convention to a new venue. Not a venue that I haven't been to before. It's the same venue that SuperCon is at. But still, it's every convention, they got their own way of going about things. So
sure, yeah. It
was interesting to check them out in their new venue. I mean, it's been growing year after year. They really outgrew their last venue. And yeah, dude, last year I went, and that Saturday, and I mean, you've been to conventions, Saturdays are that's the day that everybody shows out, that they come in their Sunday best, as far as cosplay. And
I actually feel like nowadays, the past couple conventions that I've been to, Sunday has actually been worse. And I think, well, especially with New York Comic Con, I don't think they cap the number of tickets on Sunday. I think because for whatever reason,
they probably expect low attendance,
or I think they expect people to go in and out. I don't think they expect people to stay in the building for long periods of time. But the it gets swamped to the point where I'm just like, how is this even like a feasible, number of people in a building? Like,
there's definitely some fire codes being broken.
God, it's actually insane, and I think that's actually what they're doing. Because like, what's weird is that Thursday through Saturday sell out immediately, but Sunday never sells out. I don't know how that's possible, but Sunday
they leave that one open for the stragglers that didn't make it
in the 4 months that those tickets are available. Somehow that day just never sells out. Anyway, keep going.
But yet it's just as packed, but or worse.
I think it's worse, dude. I honestly, truly think it's worse. Go ahead.
So like for me, and I know that a lot of con goers do the same thing, but for me, like Friday, at least on a 3-day. At a 3-day con, I am going in that first day, kind of getting the lay of the land, kind of seeing where everybody's at. Obviously, you're not going to see everything that first day, but still, you get the gist of how things are. So on Saturday, I kind of start to. So on that Friday, I also kind of eyeball some of the stuff that I like that I may want to buy. Saturday, if I'm coming in cosplay, I'm definitely, going to be out there. There's always somebody that wants to take, pictures of, I cosplayed as Obi-Wan. So there were a handful of Jedi out there that definitely, they wanted to take pictures and stuff. And Sunday is really like that's like the biggest, like, I would say, not the biggest, but I know that a lot of people hold off their buying until Sunday. Sometimes you can get a good deal from some of the stores. Some of them,
the vendors,
stores, they come. Yeah, some of the vendors they come from out of state, and if they didn't sell enough stock, it's a little cumbersome to break things down. Just throw up a sale and call it a day. But
they'd rather get rid of the merch.
Right. And you're more likely to get a deal on that day than like the other 2 days, because people are actively buying Friday and Saturday, especially if that's the only days that you're going. But for a lot of the other people that are going on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, some may wait until Sunday to buy something that they want. I mean, I bought stuff throughout the weekend, but I did make some of like the larger purchases, like maybe on Sunday, except for that canvas that I showed you, the One Piece one.
Yeah, that looked cool.
But they had knocked down the price on that one. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll take it.
You guys might hear my cat Umbra in the background in this video. He's making a comeback.
Making a comeback to the podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I had a really good time. I got to go to a couple of panels. I really enjoyed the My Hero Academia one. They got like. Do you ever go to? What happened?
Yeah, what's going on with the My Hero Academia?
They had, so there was a bunch of the voice actors from My Hero, and they got together on a panel. People asked questions and stuff, and it was fun. And there's some other like side panels. I went with a few friends. I actually saw my brother there too, so that was pretty cool.
Awesome. So were you not like planning to go with your brother, or he just happened to be going to the same convention that you were?
We'll be back after a quick break.
I hate talking.
Do you love talking about any topic and are never frustrated during conversations? Then I Hate Talking is not a podcast for you.
But if there are topics that you avoid, then listen to I Hate Talking.
Do you know the definition of every word others use? I Hate Talking is not a podcast for you.
But if you are curious about the definition and historical usage of words, then listen to I Hate Talking.
Do you know about current events and other random topics? Then I Hate Talking is not a podcast for you.
But if you enjoy conversations on a variety of topics, then listen to I Hate Talking.
Listen to I Hate Talking wherever you get your podcasts.
Episodes drop every Thursday. Listen, like, and follow I Hate Talking today.
He happened to be going to the same convention. Like, he let me know kind of like last minute.
Oh, okay,
so I was like,
cool.
Oh, that's cool.
All right, cool. He's doing good?
Yeah.
Good.
He is. But yeah, man. Yeah, it was action packed, and it was a good weekend, man. It was long overdue for me to take some time off and enjoy some geekery.
You said you met, or you had the opportunity to meet some voice actors?
Yes.
Or a voice actor?
No, so I was able to meet a few voice actors actually. So I got to meet the voice actor for Guy from Naruto,
Oh, cool.
Rock Lee from Naruto, Robin from One Piece.
All English voice actors.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And I got to meet Freeran also.
Wow.
And a couple of voice actors that were there that I had met before. Like I didn't like really go to meet them, but they were there also. Was it Rico Fajardo, who does Lemillion and My Hero, and then Zeno. I don't remember his last name, but his name is Zeno, and he does the voice of Hawks in My Hero. And so,
dang, man.
Yeah, man, it was a good time, man. It was really cool. I love I love to get out to them conventions, man. So
I know. Yeah, you're a fiend for it. And do you have any?
I am a fiend for it. That is my Disney World.
Question. This is a layup. Do you have any conventions coming up?
I don't think so. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, man. I've got SuperCon in July, man.
Where is SuperCon?
It's at the same convention center that OtakuFest was at.
Okay, so
but they're gonna be taking over the bigger space though. Like you know how convention centers can kind of like section themselves off.
Yeah.
So OtakuFest took a little bit of a smaller space, but it was still like bigger than the old venue.
Got it. Okay.
SuperCon will be taking like a much more like big, like larger space. So
okay, cool. And I hear you've gotten some press badges for SuperCon.
Yes,
that's awesome.
Got press pass for SuperCon, and I couldn't have done it without y'all.
Yes,
and you too, Dakota. Because other than that, I'd be talking into empty air.
I'm sure someone would.
I mean, I've done it before, but still, it's different.
It is different. Yeah, no, it's good to have someone to bounce ideas off of and just to have a conversation. Conversations are generally so much more interesting, I feel. Like you can watch a YouTube video, which we'll talk about actually today. You can watch a video for 4 hours, and unless you have like a really good personality, you need someone else to bounce ideas off of. So anyway, that's cool that you got press badges for SuperCon. I'm excited to hear all the shenanigans that go into that. Hopefully, like you can get some interviews potentially, or insight into certain panels, whatever. I think that'd be cool.
That would be awesome. Was it David Tennant's going to be there?
Mr. Ten.
All of Critical Role's going to be there too. I don't know if you know Critical Role.
I know Critical Role. Yes, I do.
Okay, yeah. So they're all going to be there. So that's going to be. I'm pretty stoked about that.
Are they going to play a session? I would assume.
I don't know. It's a good question.
I feel like
if they do, I'm 100% going to go there. I don't care if I have to sit through 3 panels before that.
Yeah. I think that's what they do when they're all together at a con. They'll usually be together for maybe an hour or 2 long session of D&D that just continues their game. The issue I have with Critical Role is like the amount of work you need to like actually catch up to their story, because they have. Dude, it's hundreds of hours of content.
So they actually got onto that. So they actually just launched a new service called Beacon. They have their own like app and like their own service, and they're new. I don't know if they're gonna do it for the past. I don't know if they're gonna do it for the past campaigns, but I know for this intro campaign, they're doing an abridged version of all their episodes.
Oh, cool.
So it's going from like a 4-hour episode to like about an hour and a half maybe. So that's a lot more manageable. You're really getting the gist of the story. It really, what it cuts out is, like some of the intro stuff, like, like they have like this whole little intro session with their advertisements that they'll talk about. And there's some, how like, I mean, dude, we're part of a podcast. Sometimes you go on tangents, and so it'll cut off some of those parts, and it just gives you like the straight and the narrow. Some, you still get like really good parts to it, but dude, like, I mean, I've been watching through some of the abridged stuff, and I'm like, yeah, like it's pretty good.
Some of these X-Men movies are rather short, but I kind of wish they were a little bit more abridged. So that would be really nice.
But yeah, man. So yeah, just I'm on a con frenzy right now. And then I've been watching like I said, the critical role abridged. And
They actually like I don't know if they have their entire campaign animated, but they have a show, I believe it's on Amazon Prime, of their first campaign.
Yes. So it's called The Legends of Vox Machina.
Right.
And actually, believe it or not, when they started Critical Role back in, I think it was like 2015, they're actually in the middle of a campaign. So when they actually started to live stream it, they were already in the middle of it. So like I don't think that there's any footage from like the beginning of the set of that campaign.
It's kind of
So
cool.
yeah, so I would say that the animated show really like fills it in, and I think that they got greenlit for their second campaign. I think that they've got an animated series coming out for that too, the Mighty Nine.
I think I've heard that. Yeah.
So I'm actually pretty stoked about that too. Dude, believe it or not, I've been following Critical Role for like the longest time. I think since like the beginning, or like sometime in 2015, 2016. But like I just never got down to really like to watch it. Like I never was able to sit down and watch it. It's long.
Like the idea of Critical Role, and you wanted to support it in any which way you could. Yeah, but you didn't actually have the time to devote to it, or
to devote. Yeah. But I do like to sit down and watch some of their stuff. I love their intro stuff, especially like when they should be on tonight actually after we're done recording. But yeah, dude, like like I said, I've been watching the abridged stuff. It's a lot more manageable. It's easier to swallow. So yeah, man, you should look into it. They have them on YouTube. I mean, if you're interested. I mean, I don't know if you care to watch D&D. Other people play D&D, but it's interesting, joke and all that stuff. It's funny. But yeah, man, I mean, enough about me, dude. I've been rambling off like just crazy. What have you been up to, man?
No, it's okay. That's part of, the first half of our podcast is us rambling about what we've been up to.
Rambling like old people.
I don't have too much this week. It's just kind of been like a hectic week, just, with life and work and getting everything situated, making plans for the future, stuff like that. But
I feel that, man.
Yeah, I bet you feel it, because we're 30 plus now, and we gotta have plans, which sucks. But anyway,
I just want to wing it, man.
I just want to wing it. Why? Biggest thing that's happened to me this week was watching the Jenny Nicholson video on it's called The Spectacular Failure of the Star Wars Hotel.
Oh, that's dude. Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you've seen any of her video yet.
No, I haven't, but like that sounds so interesting. But I honestly, to tell you the truth, like I knew they were doomed from the start.
Yeah,
like,
as soon as they
that price point was too high.
Dude. It was ridiculous. Yeah, so it
was too high. Like, dude, am I actually leaving Earth?
What's crazy is that like she breaks it down. Even like the initial price tag that they gave us wasn't legit.
Dude, send it to me. Send it to me at some point.
Okay, I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you during the recording at some point. But it's I'm just gonna preface it.
Yeah, do it.
It's 4 hours long. It's a 4-hour breakdown of everything that went wrong in that hotel, and it's amazing.
That won't be one sitting.
No. It's taken me all week. Like after work, I'll spend I'll get my
20-30 minutes.
I'll get my dinner. Yeah, I just finished it today. It came out during the weekend, and it's blowing up on YouTube. And it's the current #1 trending thing on Twitter. Like this whole week. I
love videos like that so much.
And
I love like movie videos like that, Defunctland, all that.
It's kind of like that. And what's great about her video is that she actually went. She spent the money to go. And so
she's got the insight.
She's got the insight. She has all her own footage. She got permission to use footage from other channels to like fill in gaps that she didn't necessarily experience. And basically
this was collaborative effort.
I think it was a little bit. Yeah, it was mostly her, collecting all the information from other people's vlogs basically with her own footage and everything. And she goes in, man. it's a brutal takedown. And like by the end, you're just like, yeah, Disney's totally lost their way. And this is like the culmination of all their hubris. You know, like this deserved to fail because of X, Y, and Z. And
yeah, I'm excited to see that.
it's so good. And it actually, like, I was trying to put into words why I was never really excited about the Star Wars Hotel based on like concepts and even like vlogs that were saying it's the best thing that Disney's ever done. And I think what it comes down to, I don't know if have you been to the park since Galaxy's Edge came out?
Yes.
Okay, so you've been to Galaxy's Edge. You've probably ridden the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run.
I've done
ride.
that. I've done Rise of the Resistance. Yeah. I've gone a couple times, actually.
It's fun. It's a good time. Rise of Resistance is like leagues better than Smuggler's Run. But like my biggest issue with Smuggler's Run is that it's less of a ride and more of like an interactive video game. And I kind of want to sit back. Like I don't care about pressing a random button to like, you know, maximize whatever potential story I get on screen, which is what you do, you know, like a button will like flash and like, engineer, you have to click green. And okay, fine, I have to click green, you know. It's stupid.
And it sucks. Like when you're in the back seats, it really sucks.
Yeah, but at least
You're just like,
I have to press the least amount of buttons, you know, like
that's true.
I just want to watch the screen and have fun in the shaking like automobile, whatever you're in. But that kind of like, that's my cat. He keeps wanting to go in and out of the bedroom, so my wife keeps letting him into the bedroom, and then he's just like, no, I want to go out of the bedroom, but we can't keep the door open because she's watching TV and she has a fan going on in there, and you know he's a cat and he doesn't believe in closed doors, so. You know, that's just a personal belief of his.
Just get one of those like those like doors with like a large gap at the bottom, so you can just like crawl under it.
We should get him like a cat flap.
There you go.
Although you definitely hear that in the podcast. Yeah. Anyway, it's so with that ride, Smuggler's Run. I like it, but I don't love it, and the reason I don't love it is because I want to just observe and experience a story. I don't want to be necessarily part of a story. I don't want to feel like an actor bringing something to life, I guess. And everything in that hotel is you playing a game on your mobile phone and experiencing this story that kind of unfolds. If it even works in the first place, which, you know, that's a big part of her videos. Like nothing on like the mobile game app was working for her.
Right. And you know the insane thing about like that whole experience is that you're spending all that money just to stay like in a building for like what, 2 days? It's
a 2-day experience, yeah. With a 8-hour shore leave. I'm putting it in quotations. Shore leave to Galaxy's Edge theme park, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not shore leave.
Yeah. Basically,
stopping off and
basically it allows the actors who, you know, are there to entertain you on the thing to take a break for 8 hours. But anyway, yeah, it's a nightmare. But her personality is so great in expressing like why things didn't work. And yeah, anyone who's interested in that, we'll probably leave a link in the show notes just because it's something that we're talking about. And
do it. Yeah, let's do that.
Super good. And it's like trending right now. So you've probably already heard it by the time that, you know, this is coming out. But it's by far like the most viewed video on the Galactic Star Cruiser period since it's been up, you know, like it's amazing. It's a true YouTube masterpiece. But anyway, guys,
nice.
Is there anything else? I don't think there's anything else. Have I watched anything? I don't think I mentioned it, but X-Men 97 finished last week. It is the best thing Marvel Studios has ever done.
Hands down?
I think so. It is the highest reviewed thing. It is like 75 something reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. 100%.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
so there's a lot of care and work was put into that, dude. I want to hop onto that train. I have seen some glimpses of it and it looks good, man.
Yeah, it's what's great about it is I don't think you need to necessarily have, you know, caught up with the original series, like the original 5 seasons of the show. They do a good job within the first episode catching you up to speed about like who everyone is, what the current state of mutant kind is, where Professor X is, etc., etc. So
nice.
Anyway, shall we, while we've transitioned into our X-Men discussion, shall we talk about the origin of one of the X-Men?
One of the most popular.
One of the most popular, Marvel characters in general.
Yeah.
So Wolverine. The Wolverine is old, guys. Did you know that Wolverine is like over 130 something years old? Probably 140 years old at this point. Who knows? Who knows how old that kid was?
That man fought so many wars.
I'll tell you what. When I was, the first 30-ish minutes of this movie, I was just like, it's a little bit clunky, but I kind of like the story, I was thinking like, when am I going to dislike this movie? And then like, I realized, I don't remember exactly where it was, but like something happened and I was just like, man, I've lost all interest in this. I don't know what's going on. So the beginning is actually kind of a fun intro, I think it's a really cool way to introduce both Wolverine and Sabretooth.
Right, and they made some changes.
Yes, some pretty notable changes with Sabretooth specifically.
Right, by making Wolverine and Sabretooth brothers.
Yeah. So early on in the film, it's like the 1870s or 80s, something like that. A long time ago. Wolverine is, sick in a bed somewhere, and, like there's some family struggle that was a little confusing to understand, because there was like 7 or 8 people, and, one of them was his father, one of them was maybe his mother, but then someone was definitely his father, the person that he killed. This is all within the first minute, and it's a really I like the way that they introduced it, and they expressed that, this character's been around forever, but I was a little confused about why I needed to care, if that makes sense. I don't know, because like we couldn't tell who was the abuser in this situation. We couldn't tell who was lying or truthful until it was too late, so it was just like
what's going on?
Yeah, and you kind of get it. You're just like, context clues, you're just kind of forced to, okay, so I'm supposed to believe he killed his father because his father, I don't know, wasn't around, or was suddenly very abusive, or just suddenly really wanted Wolverine to know that he was his father randomly.
Well, I guess like he was thinking that he was coming in to cause harm to his family, so he like kind of fought him and killed him. But I think that was just like, because Wolverine has like that animalistic nature, so it was more of an instinct than like a thought that he did that. I do like that we get like a pre-adamantium Wolverine.
Really cool.
With the bones.
Yeah, the bone claws were really cool. I think they did that really well. And even the part where later in the film, Sabretooth like steps on the bone claws and snaps them. You feel it. Like it's cool.
Yeah, right? Like it's it's painful. Like big I've never broken a bone, but I've heard that it's super like, it's dude, it's painful.
I've broken my wrist twice, and yeah, it is. It's not something I, recommend trying.
And so you probably you probably just fractured it.
No, I've broken. Well, okay. There's fractions. Am I saying that right? Fractures. There's fractures.
There's half.
There's half, and then there's whole. I was like, wait, fractions is the wrong word. I've fractured bones before, but I've actually broken bones, where like it comes apart within the arm.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But like, when he steps on it, it's a clean break.
Oh, yeah, it's a break off.
But still, like, dude, like, I mean, that it's going to heal, but still.
Yeah, it's not a pleasant thing. But,
I mean, he does say it hurts whenever his claws come out. Like every time.
He did say that in the first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was that's a really good scene in the first movie. But so going back to the beginning, they, like Wolverine kills his father. They run away. They're being chased by I don't even remember. But Sabretooth, his brother, is just like, yo, we're brothers. We gotta do this together forever. And then they do it forever, but not really forever. They do it for like 100 years, you know? Like, they just, you know, go on a rampage. You know, starting with the American Civil War. I mean, at some point they left Canada because that's where the film opened, and they decided to become American for a little bit. And they fought with America for the American Civil War. They did it for World War I, World War II, Vietnam. And it was like during this, I think it was during World War II, Wolverine started to see that Sabretooth was getting too much joy from killing and hurting others.
Oh, I think that wait, was it World War II or was it in Vietnam?
So it started in World War II where like he stormed one of those like Nazi
one of
like
the bunkers.
Yeah, one of the Nazi bunkers, and he's just like, you know, going at it with like a rifle and just like gunning people down in there, and you could see Wolverine kind of like looking at his brother like, this doesn't feel right, but you know, they're Nazis, so might as well. But then in Vietnam, he has gone too far at that point. You know, he's taking young girls to, you know, potentially do terrible things to them. And then, you know, when one of the soldiers stops him, he starts, you know, actively attacking his own men just because he likes violence.
Right.
And that's when Wolverine has basically, you know, enough of him. And then they're hired by William Stryker randomly.
Right, because like they faced a firing squad and lived to tell the tale.
They I like that though. It's cheesy enough at this point in the movie where I'm still on board with the story. Just like, okay, I can kind of see how this is how Wolverine and Stryker kind of first got into contact with one another. All right, and this is the Stryker in X-Men 2 that was using his own son to manipulate the professor, and also was the one who put the adamantium claws in, and, you know, the skeleton within Wolverine himself. So you're just like, huh, okay, maybe he's not such a bad guy. I'm seeing the other side of the story. But no, he's a bad guy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we get some, you know, they join this squad and we get some interesting characters, you know. We get Will.i.am.
Will.i.am with like a typical Will.i.am hat. I'm just like, what?
Yes, dude. I was like, this is like peak Will.i.am right here. Like,
I like look.
It was during that time, you know, like the Black Eyed Peas were still like, you know,
yeah,
they were bumping, and yeah, it was so fun to see him in this movie. And yeah, this is where we get a first taste of your boy Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. And
well, hold on. I don't think we're finished with the Will.i.am discussion at this point. Because
we're not? Okay.
Why could they not pry that hat off of his head? Like what happened in like the contract? Like no, I gotta wear this hat. I gotta wear this hat.
Hey, you know, dude, Will.i.am, man, you know that he's got style, and he's like, I'm not going to, you know, stop my style even for a movie.
That okay. Yeah, you know what? Checks out. You brought up Ryan Reynolds, Wade Wilson. They introduced the character of that will eventually become Deadpool through this version of the character, which did have some similarities in personality to the character that we know in the Deadpool movies. Not as crass, but you know, if this were a rated R movie, I could see him, you know,
right,
being a little bit more crass. Also, he was very quippy and witty, and everyone was complaining about how he doesn't shut his mouth, which is a very Deadpool thing, you know? At some point in the movie, I don't even know how we got to this point. Like, there's so much that happens. Like, there's some good ideas in here. There's some good ideas. But then there's, like, stuff that happens in this, and I'm just like, where did they come up with this? Like, how could they come up with this?
Was it...
It doesn't make any sense.
Wait, are we still on Wade? Or... Well, I mean, we also have...
Maybe? I don't know. Because...
Like, pre-Blob?
Keep going.
Yeah.
We got pre-blob and post-blob. Before the blobination, he was one of Stryker's crew. And there's a couple of guys in the crew that I don't even know. Like there's so many obscure like X-Men and mutant characters that you just can't keep track of them all.
Forget the names.
I don't remember if Will.i.am is... I don't know if Will.i.am is like an actual teleporting character or they just made it up for this role. I don't know if Zero, the like bullseye kind of guy, had any Marvel character. And this is all very easily Googleable, but I was just like, I don't even care. I was watching this and I was losing interest on the spot.
I'm regretting this episode right now.
I'm not, because I don't think I would watch this movie again if it weren't for this lead up to Deadpool and Wolverine that's coming out in a little over a month. But by the way, I have tickets to that, so I'm excited
tickets
about
for that yet. But I definitely want to go see it I'm gonna definitely go see it in IMAX. That's non-negotiable for me. So I would say like I agree with you. Like I probably wouldn't have sat down to watch this movie if it weren't for this. But at the end of the day, like, while this movie might not be the best movie, it was still fun to watch in some points.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely, like, some, over-the-top action that's pretty fun. Like I said, like, the introduction, like, seeing them throughout all the wars was kind of cool, Like, I don't think... Like, most movies don't actually, like, ever attempt anything like that, so I thought that was kind of cool. Like, what do immortal people do... when they're savage beings like Wolverine and Sabretooth, they find themselves in wars.
And then like, you also, and it also makes me kind of think like, even some of the MCU's, like, even like some of their like really bad movies are like not fun to watch, and like this is not that good of a film, but it was
Secret Invasion was that for me. It was the Marvel show. It was just like, it wasn't very good, and it wasn't very intelligent either. Like, it was, how, like, spy stuff is usually kind of, like, worth it because...
it pays off in the end.
There's some surprise or something like that. There was nothing... No.
They tell you right off the rip.
From the first 2 episodes... Yeah, from the first 2 episodes, you can guess the entirety of the rest of the show. Like, there was no surprises. But anyway, let's not get off on tangents again.
Dakota,
come on, Anthony, you gotta keep us in line.
For the ride of the tangent.
Okay, so let's stick with Wade Wilson at this point.
The pre-Deadpool
and how his character develops. I kind of have to most of you have not seen this movie in a long time,
or at all.
If you've seen it at all. If you've seen it at all, because everyone knows this is bottom of the barrel when it comes to X-Men movies.
Some people just
which is a pretty deep barrel, let's be honest.
As far as like Fox, like Marvel.
Yeah. So let me try to explain what happens in like a really 30 seconds to 1 minute pitch, because I need to kind of encompass all this together. All right. Wolverine leaves Stryker's crew. 7 years later, I think it was 6 or 7 years later, he's living out in the Canada Rockies, doing his own thing with a girl, and lumberjacking away, has no cares in the world. Stryker comes, just like, hey, Sabretooth is potentially killing all these... He doesn't even say that it was Sabretooth, but he's just like, hey, these guys have been disappearing, and I wonder if it's Sabretooth or something like that. And then the very next day, his girl, quote-unquote, dies, bringing him back into this whole mix of, finding Sabretooth, figuring out what's going on, and it turns out that Stryker was, behind the scenes the whole time. He's been killing random mutants all over the world, trying to siphon up their DNA so that he can put it in the pool. And when he said the pool, I forgot that was a line in this movie, and I was just like, oh, that's why this is so bad. And it turns out the pool was actually Deadpool. And they brought back the supposedly dead Ryan Reynolds character, Wade Wilson, as not a merc with a mouth, not anything resembling his costume, but they like sewed his mouth shut, which was some sort of joke, I think, because they made a joke like, I guess they finally got your mouth to shut or something like that.
Oh yeah, I think Wolverine said that actually.
I think so, yeah. And it turns out basically like he has the powers of all of these random people. All of a sudden,
right. Oh yeah. Was it? We got your boy Mary in here too. He's got like some, I don't know, like this ability to control electricity or like electrical circuits or whatever, or like lights and stuff, like lights. But then he can control like he could fly ships too with it.
His the upper limits of like his, I guess it's called technopathy. I guess that would probably be what it is.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Isn't really explored, but anyway, he can turn a lot of light bulbs on, and maneuver a lot of energy, because at some point he was basically like lighting up a whole carnival. I think that was what he did, or maybe like the impact of his death caused like a little short EMP. I don't know. I have no idea how his powers work. But yeah, I think that's what his powers are, is technopathy. The Deadpool, man. What an interesting. Oh, they actually there is a little hint at his costume, like right before he uses Scott Summers' concussive blast power with his eyes. The outlines of his eyes kind of get that like diamond shape that is like notable in his costume. It kind of like gets burned into his skin for some reason. It's not explained, obviously, but it's, some hints at, a potential. My dog is like going ham on the water bowl right now. Luna.
I can hear that.
Yeah, she's going. It's. I promise you, it's not like. It's not me lapping water. It's my dog. Enough, girl. I'm gonna throw up. Anyway, between my cat and my dog, this place is becoming a zoo.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if you remember that I said I had like a funny story about this movie.
You might have mentioned it.
So this movie, like back when what was it, 2008, 2009 that it came out?
I think it was 2009.
Okay, so in the year of 2009, this movie actually got leaked. Like the whole movie got leaked. And
wait, how did it get leaked?
I don't know how it was, but this movie got leaked. Like the whole movie got leaked.
Was it during that whole thing with the North Korea? So there was a couple movies that got leaked when right around the time the James Franco movie. I think.
Oh,
was called
no!
The Dictator.
That movie came out in 2014.
Okay, yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm mixing stuff up.
So yeah, no. This movie got leaked. And like the whole movie got leaked, but unfinished. And so I like watched.
Oh, that is right. I forgot about that.
And I watched like a huge chunk of it like this, and it was hilarious, dude. It was so funny. Like there were scenes where you could see wires. There were unfinished. There were like moments where yeah, like it was like grayscale polygons going on. And yeah, like when you got to the last part with Deadpool, like when he dies or something like that, and like the beam like takes down the building, that part was unfinished, and it looks so funny, dude. Yeah, man, I got to see like this movie like unfinished, and it's interesting because it kind of gives you a little bit of insight into the process, right? And so I mean, I got to experience that with Into the Spider-Verse, the first one, when I went to New York Comic Con with you. So like this was kind of like that.
That's right. Yeah, you got to see like 30 minutes of that, right?
Yeah.
I think there was some stuff that wasn't animated.
Right. There's some stuff that was unfinished. But yeah, like there were some things that weren't animated, some things that like, dude, there was like moments that his like claws were supposed to come out, and there was nothing there.
There were moments in like this film that felt unfinished. Like when he's in the bathroom and he's looking at his claws, and it's the worst CGI claws of all time.
I was thinking about that. I was like, dude, those like claws don't look good.
And then like he like lightly touches them, and there's like sparks on, like, just like ching ching ching, and it's the worst CGI like I've seen in a long time. And it looked better in the previous X-Men movies. I don't know.
And I was thinking that same thing. I was like, dude, how is it that his claws in the first one look way better than like in here?
It was bizarre. Yeah, it didn't.
And I've always wanted to know how, because like you saw like how his bone claws were.
Yeah.
Like how did the adamantium situate perfectly into knives?
The world may never know. The world may never know.
You know, like
Is the rest of his skeleton knives like?
I was like, I never understood. I was like, dude, I said those are too perfect. Like they're like, I mean, like there's more imperfections in like a regular knife in the drawer than like his like claws, you know.
But also, like, let's just talk about like Stryker's plan for a second. Let's make this character indestructible. He says that several times. I'll give you the power to take down Sabretooth by making you indestructible. And then, you know, something goes wrong with his plan because, you know, he decided that the man he decided to make indestructible also needed to lose his memory, which Wolverine didn't like. He got pissed. He left the thing. And then he tells one of his, henchmen, take his head off. How do you take the head off of an indestructible man?
Right.
Like, what was his goal? How do you expect any of this to happen? And then also my favorite part, and I was just like, how does he know that? How could he know? So after his plan fails, or no, in like when they realize like he's gonna be hard to kill, they pull out adamantium bullets. And they're like, this is the only thing that can take him down. And then later in the movie, they pull out the same bullets, and you know, Stryker's just like, you know, that's not gonna kill him. But like, why'd you say it would kill him 30 minutes ago? Like, why did you pull it out? And then he's like, it's not gonna kill him, but it's gonna remove his memories. And I'm like, how the heck do you know that it's gonna remove his memories? What property do these bullets have that's gonna erase his memories?
And it worked. Like, mutant powers into it.
It worked. How I was flabbergasted, dude. There's not a lot of, you don't see that a lot in movies these days. It's just like nonsense, you know. So usually there's some there's some workaround, you know, like some techno babble that kind of explains like, oh, you know,
it just is in this movie.
It just everything just is.
Oh my gosh. We also didn't even talk about that we got Gambit in this movie.
And you know what? It was kind of cool. You know, like he was one of the cooler moments in this movie.
I did like the Gambit. I think that they got him down pretty good portrayal wise. Like
what the scene that I was like, they really nailed it is he's not just a card wielding guy, you know, like he is capable of touching something and exploding the object.
Right. Yeah.
So when that, that nuclear silo was falling on Wolverine, he used his staff to touch it, and it basically crumbled before it hit the ground, which saved everyone's lives. Maybe not the indestructible man, but, you know. Anyway, I do think that the way that they used his powers and staff and kind of gave him a slightly Cajun accent, I think that was really cool. What I didn't like about Gambit, there was some really stupid things too. They started getting out a fight, you know, like Wolverine's asking about the island that Stryker has, and you know how he wants to take down Sabretooth and Stryker, and I guess Gambit doesn't really believe him or whatever, so he starts fighting Wolverine. He sends Wolverine into the alleyway, and Wolverine confronts Sabretooth, who's just there.
Right, like he happens to just be there.
He just happens to be there, and you know they're like in each other's faces. They're fighting, and then Gambit, oh hey, he was like, Wolverine must have been telling the truth. He really is trying to kill Sabretooth. No, he doesn't do anything like that. He gets in between the fight and starts fighting Wolverine anyway, even though Wolverine is fighting the guy that he hates. I was so confused by this, dude. And then like after the fight, he was just like, you know what? You're right. We should go to the island. I'm gonna escort you. It's a bad movie. there's some fun parts. I do like the quiet life of Wolverine, and seeing him happy briefly, I guess, and kind of getting more of the backstory of like why he has adamantium in him. But it adds so many more questions, and it introduces Sabretooth as a brother character, which doesn't really jive with the original trilogy of films, where he's only in the first one.
Right.
And he attacks Wolverine, but like there's no real
connection
between the two.
Right. I mean, no, I don't think so. I think he just really
he was going for Rogue in the first movie. He was trying to capture Rogue. So in the first movie they thought he was after Wolverine. And Charles was just like, "What do they want from you, my friend?" Blah blah blah. But then it turned out they were trying to capture Rogue because her specific abilities would allow her to blah. I don't.
Right. Yeah. We covered that.
So Sabretooth, presumably has not had his memory erased. I think, if I remember correctly. Unless he got some adamantium bullets to the head as well, which I didn't see.
Right. I mean, like, that probably would have killed him, though.
Yeah, he wouldn't have survived.
What did you think about Liev Schreiber as Sabretooth? Because, I mean, they swapped up the actor from, like, the first one to this one.
I think he did a great job.
I think he did, too, yeah.
He
has that vibe.
I liked that role with him, yeah.
He has that, like, Sabretooth vibe, and like, that animalistic kind of, like, just violent behavior. Like, he really, like, he did really well. I kind of wish that we had him in, like, the regular trilogy, but, like, not as a brother,
I kind of wish we had more of him in general, and if I remember correctly, I don't think they ever bring him back.
No. They don't bring him back. They don't bring back Toad, which we didn't even like mention that was Ray Park.
We didn't mention that. I feel like we did.
If we did, we're mentioning it now, several episodes later.
Yeah. Okay.
Darth Maul himself,
Mr. Maul, and he actually in that first movie he does like a little lightsaber twirl.
He does with like a little staff,
And I have a feeling that's a Easter egg for fans in the know, because that was like a huge role for him prior to X-Men. But anyway, X-Men Origins Wolverine so far is the worst of the 4 movies that we've reviewed in the lead up to. There might be worse ones. I like I mentioned in the last video, as I mentioned in the last podcast, I still have yet to see X-Men Apocalypse, which I don't think is this bad. I have not seen X-Men Dark Phoenix, which I've heard is pretty bottom tier. And I have yet to see New Mutants, which...
I've seen them. I've seen them all.
Yeah, I at a certain point, I kind of checked out. Although, X-Men Days of Future Past was solid. Like, that is... I'm excited. When we finally get to that one, I'm really excited.
So yeah, this movie was a jumbled mess. All right, so I mean we're pretty much like towards the end of the podcast. What are your final thoughts?
Don't trust thoughts, basically, especially not Canadian thoughts who have the ability to manipulate emotions, even though they claim they're not. Don't trust thoughts, especially not thoughts whose like sister has diamond skin. We don't need any of those thoughts in our lives. No, I'm kidding. I kind of did like the love story a little bit. I wanted it to work out, but ultimately, like I knew it wasn't going to, and I knew I forgot that she was secretly siding with Stryker the whole time. Sorry, I just brought up a whole other character in my my final thoughts. But my final thoughts are don't trust thoughts.
Don't trust thoughts. Don't trust anyone in these movies. I agree. This movie was definitely. I kind of felt the same way at the beginning. Like, oh, this. I don't know why I remember hating, well, not hating, but just not liking this so much. And then, yeah, you just hit that certain point where you're like, okay. Almost like Man of Steel. Like, it starts off strong and then it loses you along the way. But at the end of the day, it was still fun to watch in some parts. Like, even no matter how zany it got, it was still entertaining.
And this was still connected to the original timeline of the original trilogy. Like, there are some retcons, like with Sabretooth, but this is still part of that universe of, like, that first trilogy of films.
Yeah.
The next film that we're going to be covering, I'm assuming next week we're going to continue with our X-Men coverage, right?
Yes.
All right. Next film, we actually do enter a new timeline, parallel timeline, alternate timeline of the X-Men films with X-Men First Class. It's generally considered among the better films in the trilogy, or not trilogy, but series. And I'm really excited to dive back into, that era of X-Men films, because I feel like they get better.
I feel like I haven't seen those ones as much as I saw that initial trilogy. At least the first two of the initial trilogy I've seen like a lot more than I've seen,
because we grew up with them, I
ones.
think.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to dive into First Class next week, guys.
First Class.
If you're not first, you're class.
If you're not first, you're last.
All right,
Ricky
guys.
Bobby.
Shake and bake, guys. Talk to you next time.
Wait.
We haven't even done our outro. Guys, if you are at all interested in checking out our socials, you can find everything in the show notes down below. We have socials for our podcast. We have socials for our individual Twitter and Instagram and YouTube accounts. So thank you all for giving us a listen for our 82nd episode. I didn't even bother trying to piece together it's 82. What that we're covering today has anything to do with 82, because I didn't care. This movie was not the best, and it wasn't worth the energy. There's one guy out there who's just like, it is the best X-Men movie, hands down.
I'm trying to be the voice of that person.
Guys, thank you so much for listening to us. We will be back next week, and we're coming in heavy.
Yes.
X-Men First Class.
Also, don't forget to give us that nice, big, fat, juicy rating and review at your preferred podcast platform if it allows you. And if you enjoy it and you want to share it to your friends, look, we're just crazy and we, ramble on a lot, but we do enjoy the things that we talk about. But yes, share us, send us out to the world, snail mail, email, text message. I hope you all have a great rest of your week.
Put us in a message in a bottle, put it out at sea, someone will find us.
Wilson will find it.
Yes, and he will have access to the internet. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.